When I did the in vitro, they didn't tell me that it would be his baby. Of course, I figured that there were ulterior motives, but I didn't know what that signature did to me. I thought I was signing for my baby, her baby. I didn't know I was signing my life away to him, as his beautiful, silent, unwilling bride. Crimson, he's here. My mother calls me from downstairs, happiness bubbling in her voice. Her daughter, the Mafia queen. What could go wrong? I bring nothing with me as I start down the stairs, dressed in red, all of it the choice of my mother. Nausea roils in my stomach, and I don't know whether it's out of nervousness, disgust, or the pregnancy. Maybe it's all three. Maybe it's the gut feeling that something tragic is just around the corner, or maybe the tragedy is his deathly handsome face. He's waiting in the foyer, dark hair slicked back, dressed in cargos and an oversized t-shirt that does nothing to hide his muscular form. I remember as a child, I thought he looked kind, like perhaps he would be different from the rest of the children that I knew, all of the heirs to the Mafia families. It was probably just because he was silent, standing to the side and observing rather than participating in the mischief and rule-breaking that the other children dabbled in, but I know better now. This is a man that knows no mercy. Alessandro Ripovsky stands there, watching me with darkness seeping out from his very being. My daughter, sir, my mother says, as though he doesn't already know who I am, who his bride is. I scowl and look at the floor. Footsteps tap on the cold marble, and when I look up, he's gone. His right-hand man grabs my arm, freezing fingers pinching my pale skin through my clothes. I'm sweating inside my red hoodie, yet I feel cold at the same time. The nausea hasn't left yet, and I place my left hand over my stomach as Alessandro's bodyguard drags me down the front step. Rather roughly for a girl that's pregnant, I think to myself, but stay silent. He jerks me down another flight of stairs and I finally wrench my hand away and glare at him as he reaches for me again. Thankfully, he pulls his hand back with a chagrined look and lets me walk ahead of him. I'm not stupid enough to try and run. I'd be caught before I left the property. I'll have to wait it out for a better opportunity, preferably one where I break someone's nose. I grimace as another wave of nausea rolls over me, accompanied by a hot flash that I combat by pushing up the sleeves of my sweatshirt. I'm uncomfortable inside the red clothing, wishing I had my familiar black hoodie and leggings to keep me company, but not quite willing to walk into the house to get them. I don't fret too much though, my future is filled with black. As if a testament to the thought, a black sedan waits in my driveway, and I don't look back as I slip into the back seat. I sit behind Alessandro, who's seated shotgun, so it's harder for him to see me, and watch as the bodyguard closes the driver's side door and starts the car. Laying my head against the window, I close my eyes to prevent the tears from cascading down my cheeks. They burn my eyes, a testament to my rage at being treated like this. I don't miss home or my parents, I hardly saw them anyways, and the mansion was just a gold-gilded prison for the key to their fortune. I don't know why I was surprised that they sold me to the highest bidder to get out of debt and secure a fortune. To them, I was worth $15 million, and to Alessandro, I'm just a pawn now. Not a person with feelings and emotions. A pawn in this ugly mafia game. I drift into darkness, cursing my luck. I never dreamed of this. Vincenzo pulls into the drive too sharply for my liking, and I shoot him a glare, which he responds to with an apologetic nod of his head. I move to open the back door of the car, sliding into the seat next to Crimson so I don't wake her. Slipping a hand under her knees, I pull her out of the car, choosing to focus on the click of my dress shoes against the paved drive instead of the attractive warmth that's soaking through my shirt. Her head rests against my shoulder, her body relaxed in the reprieve of sleep. I frown as I note that even being pregnant, she's as light as a feather. Her mother had mentioned her losing weight, but I didn't know that it was this bad. Jackson opens the front doors, revealing the marble floors and golden accents of my home. The staff stands in the foyer of the mansion, forming neat rows of crisp uniforms and even stricter faces. I scowl and dismiss them with a tilt of my head, watching as they scatter hurriedly. They'll meet their mistress later. For now, I climb the staircase and push the door to her room open. Laying her on the bed, I turn down the covers on one side and move her under the duvet. She sighs in her sleep, blissfully lost to the world and as relaxed as I've ever seen her. Brushing her hair away from her face, I leave the room, closing the door softly behind me. Common stands in the hall, the familiar planes of his face arranged in his usual stoic expression. I congratulate you on the homecoming of your mistress, sir. His smooth baritone reaches my ears as I rest my hand on the doorknob of her room and study his aqua eyes. She is the lady of this house, Common. I expect you to brief the guards that she is to be treated with the utmost care and respect. He doesn't flinch at my harsh tone, merely nodding and starting down the hall. I make my way to my office, my mind on anything but work. I know enough about Crimson to know that she won't just resign herself to this fate. It's one of the reasons I knew she'd be perfect for this life. Perfect for me. I sigh and open a folder, studying the acquisitions of the last raid on one of the Russian Mafia families. Millions of dollars worth of weapons, drugs, and slaves that I'll need to arrange freedom for. Can't tear my thoughts away from the girl sleeping in the room down the hall, my fiancée. My queen. Crimson. Bullets fly over my head as I hide behind the car, Katrina crouched beside me with her hands over her ears. My bodyguards are returning fire, but one of them is already dead and the two that are left haven't managed to take out enough of our attackers for us to be able to leave. One of the guards takes a bullet to the shoulder and his scream helps me decide that we need to get out of here, before all of us are dead. I motion for Kat to lower her hands so she can hear me, and she does, wrapping them around her torso instead. Her wedding ring glints in the afternoon sunshine, temporarily blinding me. It reminds me of the stakes, the fact that if Katrina dies, she's leaving Nikolai behind. We have to go or they're going to kill us too, I shout at her, and she nods, the terror in her eyes masked by steely determination. We decide to head down the street towards an alley that I know will take us to a main road, where we can hopefully disappear into a crowd. Standing, I grab Kat's hand, and we start running. A bullet clips my arm, startling a yelp of pain out of me and causing my steps to falter, but I keep running, knowing that we'll both die if we don't. We're almost to the alley when Katrina's hand slips out of mine. I stop running and turn, just in time to watch her crumple to the ground with a bloody hole in her forehead, eyes wide open with terror and her mouth forming a silent cry for help. I scream, watching her head hit the ground with a solid crack, blood spilling onto the asphalt. The man standing behind her smiles at me, a perfect, terrifying grin that sends chills running down my spine and has me running for the alley, tears streaming down my face. Inexplicably, he lets me go, but I hear the words that he shouts after me. This isn't over, Crimson Ventrelli. This is just the beginning. A bullet clips my arm, startling a yelp of pain out of me and causing my steps to falter, but I keep running, knowing that we'll both die if we don't. We're almost to the alley when Katrina's hand slips out of mine. I stop running and turn, just in time to watch her crumple to the ground with a bloody hole in her forehead, eyes wide open with terror and her mouth forming a silent cry for help. I scream, watching her head hit the ground with a solid crack, blood spilling onto the asphalt. The man standing behind her smiles at me, a perfect, terrifying grin that sends chills running down my spine and has me running for the alley, tears streaming down my face. Inexplicably, he lets me go, but I hear the words that he shouts after me. This isn't over, Crimson Ventrelli. This is just the beginning. I grab my phone, already knowing that all of my contacts are deleted, all of the data wiped. I open it just to make sure, and I was right. The only number programmed is Alessandro's. Like hell, I'm calling him. Opening the door to my room slowly, I peer out into the hallway, only stepping out once I'm sure that there's no one nearby. Starting down the corridor, I grimace at the hundreds of twists and turns ahead of me. I'll never learn to find my way around. I shake my head suddenly, remembering that I won't be staying. Just as I find the staircase, I hear the high-pitched warning siren go off, along with angry shouts as gunshots ensue. A guard comes tearing up the stairs, not stopping to look behind him, as he grabs my arm and drags me to my room. I go without question, already accustomed to these violent raids. They happened all the time at home, but I never really had to worry. I was a child, not an asset. If I died, that was it. I wasn't worth torture, or a ransom, or a war prize. But now, things are different. Now, I guess I'm the fiancé of the target. Future wife, future Mafia queen. The guard shoves me inside, and looks me dead in the eyes. Do not leave this room under any circumstances. Lock the door and take this. He pushes a gun into my hand. Shoot to kill. He slams the door in my face, and I stand there for a few seconds before I lock it. Why the hell would they give me a gun? I could do anything with a gun. Kill myself, barricade myself in this room, and shoot anyone that enters. Escape. I shake my head at the stupidity of the action, but I know that it's too early for me to run. I'm not risking getting lost and failing. I'll get out of here eventually, but not now. Focusing back in on my surroundings, I can still hear the screaming and the gunshots from the courtyard, and I grimace. First day. First fucking day, I mutter, sitting on my bed. I look at the clock. Already close to death, and it's only 8 in the morning. Time passes slowly, and the noise slowly lessens as I wait for the end. Footsteps echo in the hallway, and I get up to unlock the door before realizing that if they're here to let me out, they'll have a key. When the doorknob twists and nothing happens, my gut tightens. Backing into the bathroom, I lock the door and sit on the counter, waiting. Finally, just when I think the intruders left, I hear my door splinter, and the footsteps are in my room. Setting the gun on the counter, I look around the bathroom for a more close-range weapon. Maybe it's stupid, but I'm terrified of using the gun if he's right in front of me. Opening drawers, I find a lighter that looks long forgotten, but I test it, and thankfully it works. There's a can of hairspray on the shelf in the corner amongst dozens of hair products and makeup bottles, and I grab it. This will have to do if he kicks the door open. Hey girlie, a man's voice says right outside the door, and I jump. You Alessandro's newest little bitch. No, I say with a frown. I'm his fiancé, asshole. He laughs, the sound insanely annoying. I grip my weapons tighter, deciding to tuck the gun into my leggings so I can run if I need to. You sound like you actually care about the title. This time, I'm the one laughing. Like hell. He kicks the door down, and hairspray clouds the air, catching fire as I hold the lighter to it. He screams, face contorting as the flames reach his skin. But he keeps coming anyways, reaching for me and grabbing me around the waist. His grip is painful enough that I drop the lighter and can, just trying to get away. My bare foot connects with the mirror as I struggle, and it shatters, glass shards digging into my feet, and making me scream in pain. Blood and broken glass litters the floor, and I continue to fight him, knocking bottles of perfume and a hair straightener from the countertop. Finally, when he reaches up to muffle my screams, I have an opportunity to do some damage, and I bite his hand. He curses and drops me, and I lift the gun with trembling hands. Stay away from me, I say, wishing my voice wasn't shaking. He keeps moving towards me, hand bleeding, face charred. Give me one good reason. He pauses, looking at me in shock. My ears are ringing, and I lower the gun as red blooms across his shirt. He falls, laying perfectly still in the corner, a shot through the heart. My vision goes blurry, and I struggle to breathe, dropping the weapon and falling to my hands and knees. My feet are stinging, red smeared across the white carpet in a vibrant arc, a blank canvas painted with my blood. Spots flood my vision as I close my eyes, giving in to the darkness and beyond thankful for the relief from the pain. Continue soon.